football. Nope, we're getting so. Oh, I don't really know what I. Little. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Taylor McNamara. I'm a basketball player at Bryant University. It is a Division I college in New England, and today my teammates and I have come up with the top 10 things that we wish we knew before we started our freshman year as student athletes. So let's talk. Today I just finished my last final of the semester. It is now summer, which is a little ironic because it's snowing outside. We're gonna start with the academics, basketball, and then anything else you need to know about college. So let's just go. The first thing you want to know about academics in general is study hall. You have 8 hours that you have to complete by the NCAA, 8 hours per week of study hall time. You sign in, you go and hang out with a bunch of other athletes and do your homework, and it's not the most fun because there's a lot of other places that you could be doing homework. If you get a 3.0 or higher, you get out of it. So luckily a few of my teammates and I were able to get out second semester. And also another thing is the 8 hours sounds like a long time, but you will not be done in 8 hours. So you still have a ton of other homework to do. It's just that that's a requirement that you have to do 8 hours of it in there. Okay, so the second tip that I have, and I think this would be the most helpful thing that I wish I knew, is scheduling your classes. And basically what I mean by that is to schedule your easier, more manageable classes in your season, and then schedule your harder, more difficult, major-related classes in your off-season. So for women's basketball specifically, that would be first semester. You would put all your harder classes, major classes, everything in the first semester, because we really don't start the season until November. You've gotten a good foot on the ground with your class. You're not missing a whole lot. You're on campus. It's pretty smooth sailing. You travel a little bit at the end, but it's manageable. Second semester is when it gets difficult. This was the biggest learning curve I know I had, and you know, there's 6 of us freshmen this year, so we all kind of struggled when we jump in January. Semester's starting, you're on the road, it's the middle of your season, you're starting conference play, and you're just kind of scrambling around trying to stay afloat. And why am I saying all this? Because I myself am a marketing major with a pre-med track. I know another one of my teammates, Alana, she is also a bio pre-med track, and we have a lot of labs, and it's kind of hard to do labs when you're on the road. It's inevitable that we will have some during our season, but it would be best to try and take the harder or the known to be harder classes during the first semester. So the third thing that I would say is to utilize your bus time. Now we talked about it before. Study hall, you do have 8 hours. You will get your 8 hours in of homework.
A big thing that we all learn, and this piece of hair will not learn to stay put.
But the big thing that we all learn is that you have a lot of time on the road. You have a lot of time on planes, on buses, every sort of in hotels, everything. You have nothing else better to do. And what I mean by that is that Netflix and sleeping is not necessarily better. It feels good in that moment because you're always tired, but you will regret it when you get back from the bus to campus and you have to stay up all night doing your homework.
I might have learned that from experience.
So the fourth thing for academics is to make friends, and I know that doesn't sound like academics, but let me explain it to you. So, you're on the road, you are missing a lot of class time, you are busy with practice, you're busy with everything, and you don't always have time to watch the lecture that they posted, or get the lecture from the professor, or get the assignments from the professor. So if you make friends that are in your class, it is really helpful to just be able to text them and ask them what we missed in class, especially if they're on other teams too. So I know that I have some friends that are on the swim team or on the softball team, and so you can kind of like give them the notes when they're gone, they give you the notes when you're gone. It's a win-win. It's a lot easier. So I know first semester for us, it was a little weird because you're just with your teammates all the time, so you get really used to hanging out with them. But it would make it a lot easier if you just made some friends so you can get the notes. So now for basketball. So the first thing in our group chat when we were kind of creating all the points for this video is that game days are. We learned that the first couple times, you get used to it towards the end, but they're really, really, really long. And let me just tell you what a game day is. So we usually play, our schedule is like Saturday games, and then a Monday night game. So Saturday games, you will have roughly around an 8 a.m. shoot around or a 9 a.m. shoot around, but usually like around that time. So if it's an 8 a.m., you have to be in the locker room at 7:15, which means you have to wake up at 6:45 to get there. And so you are up from 6:45, you go to your shoot around, it's about an hour, then you go to pregame meal, that's, you know, another hour or so, and then you go over your scout, and then you have an hour to get ready, and that's doing hair, makeup, taking a nap, getting treatment, all that sort of stuff. And then you're on the court an hour and a half before the game starts. You warm up, and then you start the game, and then the game's over, and it's probably 3:30, so you dedicated 6:45 a.m. to 3:30 specifically to that one game. And it is a lot. So you just have to prepare yourself that it's gonna be a long day, and it's really fun, but just know that you're not gonna have time to do laundry during that time, you're not gonna have time to, you know, do homework, study, group projects, anything like that. Like, you're not gonna have time. So just plan accordingly. And especially for the night games, you will have class all morning, and then you'll have your shoot around, and then you'll have your pregame meal and the same kind of thing. So you will dedicate your basketball time from 2 o'clock to 9:30, and you just had a whole day of classes. So it is a very busy day. It's doable, but I think the biggest thing is just managing out your schedule. The planner is the best friend. Let me get you the planner. This is my Bible. During the season, I would write down all our practice times. I'd write down all my assignments, when we're on the road, what day we leave, when our practices are. I'll just show you a little bit. This is my monthly, and as we get into the day-to-day of assignments that you have, any type of anything, appointments, this will be your best friend. And for traveling, the biggest tip would be to pack less. Let me break it down for you. You will not be coming out of that warm-up suit. We have 2 warm-up suits, and we just alternated between those. Then you have your practice gear, then you have your game day uniform, undershirt, all that, and then some pajamas. That's about all you're gonna be wearing, so don't try and overpack like you're gonna go somewhere, like you're gonna do something. Usually you will get an itinerary, but for the most part, you're gonna stay in your team gear. So don't stress. They have your outfits planned for you. And don't pack extra because you will not need it, and you'll just be lugging it around everywhere, and it's a pain in the butt. So this is the 6th tip I have for you, and that is practice. Make it fun. That is the greatest advice that I could give you. For me personally, I had a knee injury this year, which redshirted me. I was out for the first 4 months, and then I came back early December. Game days are really fun to get hyped for your teammates and everything, but especially if you're a freshman or you're a red shirt and you're not really playing a whole bunch or you're not playing at all, it's really important to make your practice your game days. And what I mean by that is just make it like really enjoyable. And I know everyone gets hype about the games, but get hype about practice. Coaches love to see energy. Your teammates feed off of your energy. It just makes it a more enjoyable environment. If you're gonna be there anyway, you might as well make it fun, and that's kind of my attitude towards everything. You spend so much time with your teammates that they do become your family, and so it's really fun to have an environment where you want to see them do well, and you want to do well, and you're gonna push each other, and you're gonna become better. So just make it fun. If you ask any of my teammates, I'm sure that they would say I'm pretty loud. I clap really loud.
Clap really loud.
I cheer really loud, and I lose my voice about every single day, and I love it. I love every second of it. And so another tip about basketball, this is the seventh tip that I have, is to really create a relationship with your trainer. You should go in for treatment. You should go in and do ice baths. You should go in when anything hurts. You don't want to be a burden when you walk into the training room, or like, my injury isn't that bad. But they're there to help you, and they're there to make sure that you can play every day pain-free. So really work with them and just create a good relationship with them. Another thing I'd like to mention is, as important as physical health is, so is mental health. I know for me, I just started kind of talking publicly about my own story, and I do go see a counselor. So I use our school's counseling services. I also used my prep school's counseling services last year, and I am a big advocate for going to therapy. I think it's a great thing, especially when you're as busy as a student athlete, kind of having that designated time to cry, to rant, to vent, to just someone private who's not in the situation. It's really important to just make sure that you are taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything like that. And I think that's super, super, super important. And it goes along with basketball, it goes along with life. Okay, so now for the last thing would be for college in general, college life, what's it like? We're gonna start off with the one thing that everybody wants to know about, everyone talks about, is the parties. That is why everyone knows about college. That's its trademark. That's why movies exist. That's why songs exist. That's why everything is a big hype. And yes, they do happen. If you know me from high school, I did not go to parties. I did not have much of a social life at all. But now my teammates have really pushed me out of my comfort zone and into a social environment. So the parties are fun, but the biggest advice as a student athlete is to really schedule them and know your schedule. If you have to be up for an 8 a.m. practice, it is not worth going to that party that night. And I'm telling you that they will wear the same clothes next week, they will play the same songs next week, you will see the same people next week. So if you really have to push it off a week or a month or whatever, it's gonna be the same people, same scene, everything. Just know that it's more than just parties. I kind of talked about this before, but another tip that one of my teammates said is that sleep is essential. Yeah, sleep is super important. Nutrition's super important. I recommend going and seeing your nutritionist if you have one on campus. It's really, really fun to learn about how you can use food to advance your performance, advance your just energy, everything. It's really cool to learn about that kind of stuff. So really go out and see your nutritionist and use the resources that you have on campus. That kind of ties into the counseling services and the training room and nutritionist, everything. Utilize the resources because they're there for you and they're free. So why wouldn't you? And my last point, which is my most important point that I would say, is that you are more than your sport. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the sport that I play and I'm so happy that I can play in college. But I just want you to know that you're not just a basketball player and your worth does not just revolve around how well you play basketball or how well your grades are. I know this is a learning process for me, but just trying to involve yourself in other things and just being a well-rounded person will help you. And I'm only a freshman, and if you're watching this, you're probably going into your freshman year or you're just interested, but even though you're starting your freshman year, it's also good to know that different things will look better on your resume. So if you're in other clubs, you're in other groups, it definitely does look good on your resume. So just keep that in mind too. It's another incentive to get out of your basketball shell because a lot of us do just put ourselves into that group of basketball players. So I'm here to tell you that you're more than that. I guess what I never mentioned is the lifts, and that kind of ties more into basketball. I know a lot of people are super worried about the strength and conditioning portion, but I know it was pretty 50-50 with the freshmen coming in this year that you don't have to know everything before you step in. I was lucky enough to have the Sydney Holloway, the queen. She was a senior this year and she helped me. She taught me everything I know and I'm super grateful for her. Your teammates want to see you achieve greatness. They want to see you do well. They're not going to judge you for not knowing how to do it or what to do. So they're there to help. And so is your strength coach. He's there to help too, or she. So just keep that in mind. The lifts are not as scary as they seem to be. The conditioning is not as scary as it seems to be. It's hard work, don't get me wrong, but if you keep a good attitude and stay positive and kind of just keep the good environment, it makes it a lot better and you will get through it and you will enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below. I most definitely can make a part 2 to this, so if you want a part 2, just like the video. Tell me what else you guys want to see. I really want to make this channel a place to just help you out in any way that I can. I know that I watched a whole lot of videos before I got to college and I still watch them, so I do plan on making like game day vlogs and a day in the life as a student athlete or a day on campus or any type of like travel vlogs, anything like that. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. Yeah, so thank you for watching and I will catch you next time.